A weekend of goals and some surprising results, probably score lines more than results along the way as well. Welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. Hope you are well. The Premier League Roundup show when we're all back together. Sean and Josh are with me. How are we, gentlemen, for the first time this season together?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. How are you?
You
all
both
good,
seem...
mate. Having a very quiet, chilled out weekend, to be honest.
Very good. A prolonged weekend as well, which we all love. I'm glad to see your excitement, both of you, for the new season is oozing, which is good to see. And without further ado, we'll get straight into it. We are going to, for time efficiency purposes this season, we're going to slash some games out. So I apologise if you wanted to talk about Man City thrash Ipswich, Fulham beat Leicester, or Forest beating Southampton. We're going to park them this week and we're going to focus on the other games, and we're going to start with a mildly amusing trip to the south coast. Brighton 2, Manchester United won the first one of these of the season. Man United balls ups. And Josh, I'm going to come to you, a last minute winner for Brighton. How excellent.
Yeah, and I thought Brighton fully deserved to win this game, to be honest. And I think a lot of people have underestimated them going into this season. I've seen a lot of people putting them bottom half. But when you think of it, the year before, they come sixth with no Europe. Last year, they were still good at times with Europe. I think did they still make top half? Can't remember. But they've still got some really good players. And I think with no Europe this season, new exciting young manager, I think they could be back pushing for top 8 again. They've gone down a sort of different route this year. Usually it's buying young players and bringing one through, a couple through a season. This year they've spent a bit bigger. I think they've spent around 60 to 80 million this season. I think Pascal Gross going is a big loss, but they've made some good signs as well. Minter from Newcastle, who was on loan at Feyenoord last season, and that's a good signing. And then you've signed Weaver in the midfield, also from Feyenoord, a high-rated young Dutch midfielder. So yeah, they've spent a lot bigger, still from foreign leagues, young players from foreign leagues, but they've gone for it a bit more this year. And I think a lot of people are definitely underestimating them this season, and they're still going to be a very good side. Top of the league, I think, with 6 points in the first 2 games, and I thought they were very good. I think just before United scored the first goal, Brighton, they could have been about 3 or 4 up. They had a few really good chances. I think hit the bar once. I thought they looked really good. And then as soon as United got the first goal, United got back and started to play a little bit better. And then the disallowed goal for United, it was very unlucky. With Xerxes on the line, if it just went underneath him, it would have been a goal. But he couldn't really do anything about it. Just hit him on the goal line and it's gone in. He's in offside position. Nothing really he could have done about that. And then Brighton get the last minute winner, which I think they deserved, to be honest. I thought they had the better chances in the game. They were building some momentum just before United got the first goal. Before I thought they should have been about 3 or 4 up. Yeah, I think Brighton could be back in the top 8 this year. I think lots of people are definitely underestimating them. As for Man United, it's just sort of the same old, really. I think
job done.
Just no style of play for them, just relying on counter attacks. Really, I can't see them getting above 4th at maximum. But yeah,
absolute maximum. Yeah, Brighton without Europe this season. Who knows what they're going to be like. Even to everyone in the chat, Josh's granddad, but he's going to have something to say about what we're going to talk about next, I presume. Michael, I hope you are well. Larry in from Kentucky, I hope you are doing well. Michael, he says, we'll talk about the Newcastle. I was going to get rid of the Newcastle-Bournemouth game, and then I remembered the controversy at the end, so we'll talk a little bit about that later on. Maguire back to his best again. Man United is just a laughing stock, aren't they? Let's go to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Sean, I watched the first half on Monday night at the gym, and then I came home and I still could, I thought it was going to be about 6-0. I think you have about 10 corners in the first 10 minutes, and then somehow Jamie Vardy comes up and it turns against you. I mean, and then you go and you batter Everton. So really, you should have 6 points, really, shouldn't you?
Should do. I think obviously that was just after the last show, when I was trying to put my head together then.
Yeah.
The first 45, I think, against Leicester was probably, I know Leicester aren't great, it's probably the best half of football I've seen any team play last weekend.
Completely played them off the park. It was,
and It was fast, it was sharp, we had created chances. We just couldn't get the ball in the net. And I've been a Tottenham fan long enough to know whoever the manager is, sometimes we get punished. And we should have gone in 2 or 3 up. I thought we played very, very well. They couldn't live with us. And I don't think we played bad second half, but I've said this many times, and it will not change. Tottenham are always going to give teams 1 or 2 chances. I think Leicester had 2 chances and possibly should have won it because Vardy had a good
chance,
shot, well saved. But we're always going to do that. We're always going to let teams have chances. And Everton did have 1.5 yesterday, or you could call it, or maybe a half and a half. But I would say, actually, we didn't start as fast as we did against Leicester yesterday. Played well. But one thing I will say about the game, it was so easy. Like, I think I said about Ipswich last weekend against Liverpool in the first half. Promoted sides, they can come out first game and they can at least chase everything down, hassle, be hungry, may lack ability. And maybe Leicester did that a little bit on Monday, trying blocking shots. Didn't see any of that from Everton at all. It was, again, 1-0 up. And I thought, oh, here we go again. Because you will always have that little worry in your mind. But there was just very little fight from Everton. Ange tweaked it a bit because typical of Tottenham, Solanke, who's never been injured in his career, is now out injured. He was unlucky not to score on his debut. I was quite impressed with him. He knows what he's doing up front. So we had to tweak it a bit. We sort of went a lot more attacking, took out, we usually play like 2 6s and an 8 in midfield, sort of. And he got rid of one of them and put in Kulusevski in the middle alongside Maddison. They completely run the game. Odegaard, the new signing, come on. Everyone loved his debut. Only 19, very tricky. Got a bit of Aaron Lennon about him. I don't know if you're old enough to remember him in the Tottenham
Aaron
shirt.
Lennon, crikey.
But yes, the Tottenham like a tricky winger like that who can beat a man. But it was very, very easy. Tottenham's defence will never ever have one of the best defensive records in the league. They just won't, because that is, and the keeper, but that is the way we play. It's not reflected on them as individuals. But I rate all 4 of our defenders and the goalkeeper very highly. But we're always going to be a bit exposed. You know what I mean? That's just how we play. But Romero, Van der Ven, they just looked a class above, to be honest. I do rate them near the very top of the central defenders in the league. I think statistically, with stats all last season, Romero's better than any defender in Europe, centre-back. I think a few of these sites did. And I can see why Real Madrid are after him. I think he'll probably go there next summer, to be honest. So we've got to make the most of him. But it was a very easy win. Very easy from start to finish. I think they had one good chance, and that was only because Odegaard passed it blindly square across midfield. So, yeah, we put the wrongs of the Leicester game right a little bit. A bit disappointed still not to win that Leicester game. On paper, I suppose you could say we've had an easy start, Leicester and Everton. However, both of those teams play low block. So I'm not really sure if it helped us or not, because in the past, we've struggled against low blocks. We've struggled to break them down. I know we didn't quite break Leicester down enough. So I don't know whether that's classed an easy start for us or not. We'll find out in the next few games where we play teams that might want to play a bit more. We're always going to have more possession, but I don't know. It's a good start. We probably should be top, but that's not how football works, is it?
This was going to be an interesting game because Everton could cause a couple of problems. 1-0 still in the game. As soon as it went 2-0, I wrote it off. I said, there we go, job done, and a couple more to add to that as well. And Spurs probably got what they should have had on Monday night. But yeah, Everton does not look good. They don't want to be going to their new fancy new stadium in the Championship next season. And I know we're very early in, but they are struggling already. Let's go to Selhurst Park next, and I'll do this to give you both a little bit of a rest, and because we won. Crystal Palace 0, West Ham 2. The Julian Lopetegui era is off and running. I didn't think we were that bad against Villa, if I'm totally honest. I thought, Duran was always going to score. That was written in the script, and we just weren't quite good enough. And there was complete and utter outrage when Lopetegui didn't change a thing from the starting lineup. We were unchanged, and literally everybody expected at least Wan-Bissaka and Todibo to come in. Neither of them did, and they both did end up coming on in the second half. But it was nice to sit back and reflect on a game last night. I see the subs won us the game. I don't think we've said that more than 3 or 4 times over the last 4.5 years. The subs did win us the game. Wan-Bissaka came on and did some things that I haven't seen him do at Man United for 5 years. I thought he was absolutely brilliant, and both goals came from really good work from defenders playing it out. Wan-Bissaka, a darting run down the right-hand side. It was a bit of a scramble in the box, and who else who pops up? And then fantastic from Kilman, who has had an absolutely faultless start to life in Claret and Blue. He's been probably man of the match from our perspective in both games so far. Yesterday, he was really good. Stepped into midfield. He had basically took the ball from the edge of the box to the halfway line, a perfectly weighted ball to Bowen. And of course, our new club captain did the rest there. And overall, Palace had chances. They did. And you could say there was an element of fortune in them not scoring. I mean, that's our first clean sheet. Let me say that again. That's our first clean sheet since January, which just about sums of what has been coming up at West Ham, to be honest. And yeah, Eze had a chance, and they did have about 2 or 3 half decent chances after that 5-minute spell where we'd scored the 2 goals. Didn't happen. They weren't clinical. First half, they edged it. Second half, for that 20-minute period after the break, we dominated them, and we got the 2 goals to stand for it, which is the most important thing. Man City next week. Whatever, we're probably going to lose. Let's give them a decent game at least, and see what happens there, and then going into the international break and hopefully looking positive at the other side. But yeah, I was quite happy. A few fans got a little bit over the top angry after losing to Villa last week. I didn't really see the point of that, and faith is restored, I think, this week, because yeah, Palace, I mean, as soon as I said Palace were going to finish in the European spot, they've gone to pot, to be quite honest. That's not, might be because they've sold Elise and all the other players, but yeah, Oliver Glasner came out in the interview after and said, well, maybe we shouldn't have too much high expectations, which is probably not what you want your manager to say. But yeah, 2 losses from 2 for Palace, and West Ham up and running. Let's take some of your comments. Rolls-Royce performance from Kilman. He was excellent. Will Moyes go back to Everton? Will he go back there? We'll wait and see. Wan-Bissaka freed up Bowen and Dinos from babysitting duties. He did, and he was very good when he came on. Next up, we will go to Villa Park for the Saturday night football, which Aston Villa were beaten by 2-0 by Arsenal. Josh, your assessment?
Yeah, I said to you before we come on, I think we probably played better than when we beat them at home last season. And we had the best chances by far. I don't think we were great at all, but I don't think they were either. I think first half we weren't great, but we managed to keep them out. They didn't really have any clear-cut chances, and we had a couple. Watkins missing a sitter in the first half, which I thought we wouldn't get a better chance than. But we definitely had the better chances first half, and we kept them out. So we didn't do anything brilliant, but we were still the better side, I'd say, first half. And then the second half, I thought we were much better. Again, 2 golden opportunities. The Watkins one, I thought his first one was bad, but the second one, how it is a great save from Raya, but you put it either side of him, and it's a goal. Be about 6 yards out, diving header, and Raya somehow managed to save it, put it straight on, to be fair, but it's one of them. And then after that, we still had more chances, a few from set pieces. Cons missed a decent one, and Narn as well. And then they just get, it sounds like a bitter, but it was quite a lucky goal, to be honest, about 3 deflections, ricochets, whatever you want. And it just falls to Trossard, who he'd been on about 30 seconds. I think it was his first touch, who takes his chance. And straight away does more than Martinelli did, because I don't think Martinelli caused us too many problems. I thought Cash and Nedeljkovic, when he come on, done quite well against him. And then as soon as Trossard come on, he takes his chance. And then from then, that just took all momentum out that we had, and they just controlled the game then. The second goal, yeah, Martinez should do better, but I'm not going to criticise him, because it's been unbelievable for us. But all goalies are going to do that once a season, I'm afraid. But by then, I think already the momentum, we just lost all momentum once they scored the first goal.
Yeah, it was an interesting game because, and to be fair, you were probably right in what you said to me before about how you probably played better yesterday than you did when you beat them last season. I did find mildly amusing. I mean, I don't particularly like Arsenal, but I did find mildly amusing them singing Emi Martinez's name. I do quite like that. Something housery of it, even though I despise Arsenal. That made me chuckle a little bit. But overall in the game, I didn't think there was too much in it, to be honest. Arsenal didn't completely blow me away like they have done at times over the last sort of 12 months. And I think the game was probably there for the taking, and Unai Emery will probably be a little bit frustrated in that sense. Michael says, Josh, how did Watkins miss those open goals? If he takes them, it's a different game, and that's the fine margins of it, Josh.
I think it's with Watkins, though. He's had no pre-season, and he didn't play at all.
You don't need a pre-season to put a tap in, Josh, do you?
I know he should have scored them both, but he has looked rusty. I thought he was poor against West Ham, got subbed after an hour, and I thought yesterday he was even worse. Just his touch, some of his passing, it was just everything about him was really off. And everything that's down to him not having a pre-season. He got injured when he come back from the Euros. But yeah, them two chances were criminal, really. I think if they wouldn't have got the first goal, I think we would have probably gone on to win. I think the first goal was massive in that game. But we had countless opportunities to get that first goal, none bigger than them two sitters that Watkins missed. But what can you do? He's a confidence player. I think once he gets off the mark, he usually scores a few, then goes in a run. That's the type of player he is. So hopefully we've got Leicester and Everton next 2 games. So
6 points. 6 points. 6 points. Sharky's gifted a channel membership. I don't know who to, but Sharky, thank you very much indeed for that. I'm going to get on and change the emojis tomorrow as well, Sharky. I'm going to get a couple different ones in there for you members to check out as and when you please. Next up, now I thought I'd treat you, Sean, so I'm going to give you the game with a bit of VAR controversy because I know you love it. Bournemouth 1, Newcastle 1. Now I watched this, and to be fair, I saw what you've been putting on Twitter, and to be fair, I probably agree with that. I looked at it quite a few times and I was undecided. I was like, is it like I couldn't make my mind up personally. I don't know whether it was harsh or whether it was obvious. I don't know. I just couldn't get my head around it. I didn't know what to say.
Yes, that video that someone shared. I reckon I've watched it 8 or 9 times, probably more. And you can't really. There's no point slowing it down because it's not clear enough. I think it hit his arm. I think if I was going to, I know the shoulder is not a handball now. Arm.
But it's that whole thing. Is it like the shirt, or like because they changed the law, isn't it? Like where does it actually start? Like the handball.
I know. I didn't think the shirt bit is a thing anymore because that was too confusing.
Yeah.
Then I watched it, and was it Dan Burn going in for the tackle? I couldn't work out whether he actually hit it. I didn't know it was an own goal. But I come down the decision. I thought it hit his upper arm, more like on the sleeve, but I had to watch it a lot of times. Then I asked myself, if you've got to watch it 8 or 9 times, do you just let it go? But then I thought to myself, we've had it last season. We said, when it's very late in the game, was it the 90th minute injury time? I can't remember.
Yeah,
it was late. When it's that late in the game, it's definitely going to decide the match. Should you then take more time to get it bang on? But should it matter at all? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It reminded me of those sort of ones where we're nagging at VAR a lot, and the VAR room are probably rubbing their hands together. 90th minute, we're going to decide the game here. Do you know what I mean? They're going to have a look at it. They're going to have a look at it. It's a sort of one. It's like a ref's dream, that sort of one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're going to like that. I think if you're going to go by, I think they just got it right. And I suppose you can't knock them for that. I think it probably was handball.
I can see why they did come to the conclusion. I can see why they did. I thought it, yeah. You know, when I watch it, I think it's hit there. I think it has, and it's such a like this. Well, it's the crescendo, isn't it? It's a big moment, 90-odd minute. All the rest of it, it decides where the points go. Basically, that moment, and I understand why they've come to that conclusion. Look, whatever way they go, people are going to moan. So, look, it was a difficult one. Josh, did you have any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was slightly harsh. It definitely comes off his shirt, but I don't know. It's one of them. I think nowadays, last few years, they have ruled them out. But either way, last minute, last minute winner. It's just when it's like that, it is a killer. When they rule it out, and I think it is slightly harsh, but last few years you've seen worse than that. You've seen them lower down if they've ruled out than that down the arm as well. So yeah, I think I can definitely see why they made the decision. But a few minutes after that as well, I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah.
The Bournemouth goalie has the ball, and Joe Linton, he's practically just WWE moved him, and he's not seen red. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah, absolutely. You took the words out of my mouth, Josh. That was the next thing. That was the worst of the two decisions. Now we saw something similar at non-league at Wincanton the other week, and that wasn't given a red card either. That was bizarre. And it looked quite blatantly obvious to me. That's what VAR is there for. If the referee hasn't seen that, then that's what VAR needs to come back, because it was quite obviously done on purpose. There wasn't no, there wasn't no accidental nature of that. It was pretty violent. You get a fine if you did that outside the pub on a Friday, Sean.
Yeah, well, I've said this before, and I don't think it's just the Bournemouth thing, but both of these decisions, you couldn't see them detailed enough, because I didn't think the camera footage was that good on either of them. You knew what happened on the handball or the arm. You knew what he grabbed, sort of put his arm out on his neck. But you couldn't zoom it. Let's, for example, if you've got amazing cameras, you zoom in and see what someone's look on their face, and if they're meaning to hurt someone, you can usually tell in their facial expressions. Did he just put his arm out to block him, or did he actually put his arm around and pull him back? I didn't think you could really tell.
I thought he pulled him as well. I thought he put his arm there and then he sort of pulled him. It was weird. I
know I've banged this drum before, and I'm not a techie person, but I think we need some better cameras. If we're going to be that picky on VAR, which is, a lot of people class football as life and death. Teams can go up and go down. It can cost teams millions. I think we need better cameras. Do you know what I mean? Or ones that the football stadiums aren't that big where you can't get a camera that can zoom in and get a good view. Do you know what I mean? There must be tech out there where you can get a zoom in, come from a different angle, spin it round. Do you know what I mean? I just don't think the cameras just seem such low quality for how picky we're being on decisions. Because you remember, you go back 10 years ago and before that, it was just on the ref's view. Now we're getting cameras and tech involved in it. I just think the level of the cameras and the quality of the clearness of the footage, I just think it needs to be brought up to date, or find a better tech. I'm sure there's much. You see the films we see, the camera they use and things like that, HD and whatever they've got now, 4K.
It needs to be better. It's the quality of the cameras, and the thing that annoys me is the angles. When we've had the old VAR offside, get the lines out, and we haven't got the right angle. Is he in front? Is he behind? And is the ball out of play? We had that whole fiasco last year, didn't we? Like with the angle, was the ball out of play, kicking it back in. There's improvements to be made there, but we will move on. Apparently Sharky says there's new cameras being installed this October. Well, why didn't they do that before the start of the season? What good is it in October? It's just silly. It's silly. But anyway, hey ho, common sense obviously not engaged. Let's go to probably the game that they should have put on for the Super Sunday. We'll go to Molineux next. They're probably missing Max Kilman a little bit more than they let on to begin with. Wolves 2, Chelsea 6. I mean, I know they've got a lot of players, but 6. Josh?
Yeah, I did watch this. I watched most of this game, and it was an absolute cracker, to be honest. First half, I thought Wolves were the better team, and they could have easily been leading the game at half time. And it was a bit like a basketball game first half, to be honest, very end to end. And I thought Wolves probably just edged it and deserved to be in the lead at half time. Had some really good chances, but it was 2-2 at half time. And then second half, just about 4 or 5 breakaways, and Chelsea just blitzed them. Really clinical. Cole Palmer with 3 assists, all from Madueke, who scored a hat-trick. And that was game over then as soon as it went 4-2. That's game over, and then just a couple more breakaways. It was like Madueke practically scored the same goal 3 times, just Palmer laying it off to him on the right-hand side and just lashed it in. So second half, Chelsea just took the chances, but first half for Wolves could have easily been leading. But I think they're in for a tough season. Wolves lost even more players this summer. Neto went the other week for Chelsea. Kilman went early on in the window, and they haven't really brought many in. I can't really think of any players off the top of my head who they've brought in. The one lad who scored today up front, I've never seen him before. He might be new, I'm not sure, but I've never heard of him. But yeah, I don't really think they've spent much. I think they're still in a bit of FFP trouble. So yeah, I do worry for them. I think they'll just about have enough. But yeah, it's a slippery slope for them. Last couple of years they've been getting worse and worse. I think next few years they could drop. As for Chelsea, yeah, they signed about 40 players again. No, I think it's going to be another hit and miss season for them, probably between 8th and 6th. I'm not confident in the manager, but they were clinical today, and it was quite an encouraging performance from them against Man City as well. Had chances in that one. So yeah, maybe they might prove a few people wrong this year, Chelsea, but still can see when they sign that many players how it can properly work. But we'll see what happens.
The thing to pick up on with Wolves is it's interesting because they were firmly in a European race towards the back end of last season. We went to their place in mid-April and beat them, and that sort of put a sort of stop to it, and then an eventual end to their Europe shot. But they had a really good run towards the sort of January February time under Gary O'Neill Wolves, and they've lost a couple of players, as you said, Josh, and all of a sudden it doesn't look quite as rosy there for Gary O'Neill. And again, it's another team that just keep an eye on because they might just drop and not quite recover. And Josh was so happy about that he left, which is brilliant. It's a good job the final game is yours, Sean, because we're going to go to Liverpool, where we had to sit and endure through Arne Slot's first game in charge of Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp's gone, we all know it, and they won. Liverpool 2, Brentford 0. There was a guy on Super, it might have been a woman, a guy on Super 6 that had 3-0 to get the million. How gutted would you be tonight, Sean?
Yeah, this is the game on Liverpool TV, wasn't it? Whenever Liverpool on Sky, might as well just they only cater for the Liverpool fans. Let's put it that way.
Carragher on comms, and they didn't go to a break before the kick-off, and they put You Never Walk Alone on all the way through. And,
it's over the top. I don't know why they can't just cater for everyone's tuning in. Yeah. It's just coming a bit sickening. Very much like the Ipswich game, I thought, when they beat them 2-0. They obviously won, got the job done, but not entirely convincing. They've got Salah, which is always going to make the difference as well. But yeah, there's just obviously they got maximum points, but not as convincing as like Man City and probably Arsenal. I know Arsenal weren't amazing against Villa, but I think Liverpool just sort of just about doing enough, which is fine this early in the season. As the season goes on, when they have like tougher games, let's be honest, it couldn't have been an easier start for them. Ipswich away and Brentford at home, but they got the job done. But we didn't. Okay, do you know what I mean? We had a similar game first. They got the job done. But yeah, I would imagine. I thought Liverpool would still be in the top 4 this year. I think some people said they wouldn't be, but I just think they'll get it done. I noticed when Trent got subbed off, he didn't look very happy with Slot talking to him on the bench, and if you've seen that, almost looked like he shrugged him away a little bit. So I don't know what's going on with a few of the contracts at Liverpool. Like Trent's is running down. I think there's a strong rumour that Salah's going in the summer. So this might be his last year. I think Van Dijk's might be running down, although he's into his 30s now anyway, I think. So there's a few question marks there with contracts, whether these 3 players are sitting and looking at this transfer window, because I think most fans and pundits don't think Liverpool have probably done enough in this window. So maybe they're just sitting there. I can't remember how long each of them have got left, but whether it opens up discussions with other teams in January, that's quite often the case. So yeah, it's worth keeping on the contracts there. Obviously, if they lose 1 or 2 of them, they're going to have to rebuild in that area a bit. But I think they'll just continue getting good results. I don't think they're going to be the most exciting team or a flashy team to watch, but I think they've got enough quality there to keep getting their results. And it's a strange time, but not strange. This time of the season, we're only 2 games in. You can't really find any form lines really, because if you look at it like for example, Brentford beat Palace, then lose at Liverpool, you lose at Villa, then you beat Palace. But there's not a lot of form lines to go on at the moment. Probably need to go 5 or 6 games in to see what everyone's about. And by that point, we've got to endure another international break as well in the middle of that. So yeah, it's early days. We don't really know how good anyone is. We can't draw any form lines. Let's see where we are in a month's time in the league. We'll probably get a reasonable gauge there where it seems. I know it's early even then to predict where they're going to finish, but we'll have an idea what teams are about then.
Yeah, we will. And of course, as you mentioned, an international break in a couple of weeks' time, which is just brilliant, isn't it? Josh, thank you very much for coming back, but your work is done. We are done. Thank you very much, both of you, for joining us. Maybe, potentially, Sean, the biggest news of the weekend comes in the music world. Are you excited for the potential Oasis reunion?
Well, I'm the sort of person when it comes on a bar on holiday, I'm up on my feet singing "Don't Look Back in Anger" every single time. But I'm also old and grumpy enough that I don't fancy going to a concert of 100,000 people. So it'd be pretty cool if they did a few gigs. Yeah, definitely.
It would. And there's a rumour that he might be bringing Noel out at Reading tonight, but who knows? Hey, will we be looking back in anger come May? That really wasn't very good, but I'm going to run with it anyway. Thank you very much, Josh and Sean, for the first time together this season. I will speak to you next week. We've got Man City. Brilliant. Who have you boys got next week?
Leicester.
We got one of our bogey games away to Newcastle.
Away to Newcastle. Josh, you said Leicester with so much disdain, but Leicester. Just Leicester. You said it with disdain, and I liked it. But no, we've got all that to discuss next week. The Spurs are going to Geordie's away, is it? Is it away? Oh,
yes,
that's a nice
away
weekend
Saturday, Sunday lunchtime it is.
Oh, very good. Very good. Well, from me, come on, you Irons, and we will see you soon right here on West Ham Official. We've got Carabao Cup action. Brilliant. You two haven't. Wednesday night against Bournemouth at home. What a fantastic draw that was. Carabao Cup, we might get a nice away day to a lower league team. No, we've got Bournemouth at home. Oh, dearie me. But yeah, we've got that Wednesday then. City on Saturday tea time. Thanks for watching, and we will see you soon right here on West Ham Official. Josh, Sean, pleasure as always. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Cheers.